In this video, we're going to use one-sided limits to evaluate a limit using limit laws. It says evaluate the following limits. They give us part A, which is the limit as x approaches -1 from the left. So if you approach -1 from the left, we're going to look at values that get closer and closer to -1 from the negative side. So we're going to look at, let's first look at what would the x value as x approaches -3 look like for that function. So we're going to say the limit as x approaches -3 for -4 x minus 4 minus 8. So we're going to plug in -3 here. We would end up with, that'd be 12. So we'd have root of 12 minus 4, which would be root of 8 minus 8. Okay, we get a solution. It'll be an irrational solution. If we look at x as the limit as x approaches -2, then we would get -4 times -2 minus 4. So we end up with, this would be 8 minus 4, which is 4. So root of 4 would be 2 minus 8, which is -6. So you can see that we're getting values, we're getting real number values here. So our domain for this function actually would be from -infinity all the way up to -1, and it includes -1. And we can see that because if we take the limit as x approaches -1 from the left, okay, if we were just to plug -1 into this function to see if it's defined, we would end up with -4 times -1 minus 4 minus 8. And this would give us 4 minus 4, which would be root of 0 minus 8. So we end up with -8. So this function is actually defined at -1. But if we try to do the limit as x approaches, I don't know, -2, and we look and we plug in that into this function, not -2, sorry, 0, because that's just to the right of -1, we get -4 times 0 minus 4 minus 8, and you can see that we're going to end up with root of -4 minus 8, so this is not real. And so our domain for this function is from -infinity to -1. So when you look at the limit as x approaches -1 from the left and the limit as x approaches -1 from the right, you cannot actually find the one from the right because it does not exist. But from the left, as x approaches -1, you can just plug it in like you would for a normal limit, and we can see that when we did that, we ended up with -8 for the limit. So we can write that equals -8. So it's important when you're doing these left and right hand limits to figure out, is this thing actually defined to the left and to the right of the value that I'm looking at?